Listen, the Sigma path is not for everybody. It's definitely not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You got people that's like really down in the Sigma mindset, and they're really trying to put it in that same box that alpha, beta, etc. is under. It's not even the same thing. It's not even the same subject matter either. When they talk about the Sigma male or the Sigma female being the lone wolf, right now that's commenting on the age that we're living in. We're living in a time of individualism. You know, this is why people can't connect the way they could before. This is why the cliques don't work. The crews don't work. All crews is breaking up. People splitting up. Not everybody, but look at the general tone. It's all of this oil and vinegar when it comes to people bonding together, whether it's relationships, right, or just social scene or a working scenario, co-workers or potential life partners, whatever the case is. You got oil and vinegar because the hierarchy, the whole idea of the hierarchy it's just basically been demolished and abolished too. So the Sigma is all you're left with. The reason being is because the Sigma's path doesn't involve hierarchy. It's not about the ladder. There's no ladder. There's no social hierarchy in the Sigma way. It has nothing to do with any of that. The alpha and the beta stuff, that's about the hierarchy and people's position in the hierarchy. Even the omega and the gamma man, if there be a such thing as omega and gamma men and women to go with the alpha and beta, that's all dealing with the pyramid. You got alphas at the top, you got betas underneath that, and everything else underneath that. But the Sigma's not a part of that. Sigma is standing outside of the pyramid, but all the way at the top in terms of height though, but parallel to it. And you ask like, well, what is the Sigma standing on if it's not a part of a hierarchy? Standing on his or her own moral principles and values. That's what it's standing on. Not a part of the triangle, not a part of the pyramid scheme or the pyramid schematic. No, we turn the pyramid upside down. We turn that thing into a V. V for victory. We turn the pyramid upside down. We want the pointing down. How can the pyramid stand that way? It's not intended for a pyramid to stand. So that's the problem. Like, so dog eat dog, that can only happen when you connect it to a hierarchy. When you're a Sigma and you moving like a lone soldier and you moving solo, I'm not gonna say you untouchable, but you're a lot harder to reach in effect versus people who's all up in the enemy's face day after day thinking they gonna get this and that from them. You know, all up in the opposition's face, playing the opposition's game, going by the opposition's rules, up in the opposition's house, up under the opposition's care. And all they facing is opposition. And all they get in reward for the opposition and fighting is a chance to fight the opposition again. It's a non-stop battle. And this is what we sometimes don't understand, because we figure like, okay, well, I conquered one foe. I conquered one enemy. I shut one of them down. I was able to silence one of them. But more are going to come, because the idea of where that conflict is coming from is a nest. And so they just going to keep coming. And all these little battles is going to eventually wear you down, when the objective of the war is for you to take out the nest. If you don't pull the problem up by the roots, you're going to continue to deal with the fruit. If you don't pull the problem up by the roots, you're going to continue to deal with the fruit, because it's going to continue to grow season after season, no matter how many branches you hack off, no matter how many of those poisonous ideas you chop down and shut down, no matter how many of these squabbles and petty arguments you win, there's going to be another argument tomorrow. He said, man, you live to fight another day. We don't want to fight every day. Every day should not have to be a fight. At some point, we got a rule. Now, I thought the scripture said we are more than conquerors. So what we doing in the battle every day then, if we more than conquerors? Why are we still fighting? Why are we still fighting? Because we still attached to the old order, the old regime, still under the old guard. Still trying to fight with machine guns and when there's machines themselves with machine guns that'll just come see you. We got to upgrade our thinking, because the battle is not what we think. If we get caught up on neighbor stuff, then we already lost, because there's a much bigger problem that all problems are connected to. You could call it whatever you want to call it. You can go ahead and give it a name if you want. You could call it Satan, Lucifer. I don't care what you name it. What you name it is not going to solve the problem. You want to solve the problem. You don't just want to win a fight. That's bragging rights. That's narcissism. That's ego. That's ego. Winning the war, though, to stop the enemy from coming back, that's when you want peace. That's when you want peace. So stay away from ignorant people, please. Not unlearned people. Unlearned people are cool. You could teach them something. And on some level, we're all unlearned at something. This is why we continue to learn and grow. But man, the ignorant, though, you just don't even talk to them, please. You got to limit your conversation with them. Because ignorance, that deals into a person being a straight up fool. And you can't argue with a fool. You can't beat sense into a fool. Fools don't even learn from being hurt. Fools don't learn because they're ignorant. A lot of people like to throw that ignorant word around, but not everybody is ignoring the truth. Some people don't know the truth yet. They don't know truth yet. They never been introduced to critical thinking skills. So they don't know. They're simply unlearned. But if you check out their attitude and you watch their energy levels, you'll be able to tell who's unlearned and who's ignorant. You probably don't got time. You don't got all the time in the world to be finding out what this person knows and what they don't know. You trying to get your own thing together. You don't got time to be trying to find out all the lessons this person learned to ultimately have a summation of their character. No, you ain't got time for all of that. But what you do have time for is to take a little bit of time and just watch their character. Check out their speaking style. Look at their body language. See whether or not they cut you off. See how many words you could get in before they cut you off. These are narcissists, and there's only one cure. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it in a lot of videos. Hopefully, you got to separate and abandon them. You have to abandon a narcissist. There's nothing for a narcissist to learn. That goes into psychopathy, sociopathy. It goes into the incurable mental illnesses. This is falling under that scripture that never comes across the pulpit of how the Lord created the day of wicked, and he created the wicked just for a day of destruction. Nobody likes to look at that. But that's in there too for all of the believers. Yeah, it's in there. There's some people that are created just to be destroyed. This is if you believe. But look, even if you don't believe, it's still people that's just dying all over the world constantly. You could say, man, there's good things happening to bad people and bad things happening to good people. Whether you trying to figure out why and look for somebody to blame, how about you strive and go on your own way and worry about doing whatever you can to control your luck, your fortune. You could call it faith, you could call it belief, you could call it magic, call it whatever you want to call it, but just call it, Adam. Because it's an animal. It's a straight up animal. And they want to be Sigmas. There's a lot of people who want to be Sigmas. They're like, I'm on my own, but I don't want nothing to do with it. They look at that alphabet. They look at the whole red pill reality like that messed it all up. No, that doesn't erase what the original principles were. You being able to distinguish truth from falsehood. Nah, just take all of the stuff that faded away, like the whole dating thing with red pill. Oh, look at this, and the principles of hypergamy and all of that. Just move all of that off the table and go back to the basics. There's some things in this world that's real, and there's a lot of things in this world that's fake.